What's up, guys? This is your boy Goblins, and of course we're back with that Triple D, talking all about that Destiny stuff. And usually around this time, Bungie drops a weekly update, and they did drop a weekly update, and that's what we're going to talk about today. More importantly, we're going to talk about a specific thing of the weekly update, and that is in regards to weapons. So Bungie launched a couple images showing how many kills people get with certain weapons. One showing Crucible kills, one showing overall, like, in the wild kills, as it says. And it shows that the good majority of players are actually using assault rifles. Significantly more so in the Crucible compared to, like, in the wild. And then the runner-up to that is the Scout Rifle in both Crucible and in the wild. And then you got your hand cannons and your pulse rifles, as you guys can see here. But hand cannons are kind of still up there. Like, people do avidly use hand cannons. But pulse rifles are just fucking blowing it. Only 2% of people get kills in the Crucible with pulse rifles. 2% of people use pulse rifles in Crucible. And even more so in the wild, only 6% of people get kills with pulse rifles. Like, that's insane. So then Bungie asked the golden question, what is your favorite pulse rifle in Destiny? On Twitter, Space City Gamer said don't use them. William CL57 said none of them are good though. And Mega Sharpdo God said, is that a trick question? That's fucking hilarious. So none of my old ass Guardians use pulse rifles. That was the general consensus of what happens, and honestly I can agree with that. Like, all I really use as a pulse rifle is the bad juju, because it seems like the most acceptable pulse rifle around. And like when I do use it, it does fairly well. You just have to have it quite upgraded and so on and so forth for it to actually be useful. That being said though, pulse rifles kind of rank on the lower spectrum of the board, as you guys can see. So they're making some huge changes to weapons to even out the playing grounds. But the biggest change that's going down is the big change to pulse rifles. So that's why we're talking over some Cruise content with a pulse rifle. I'm using 3 little words in this round, and that is the Crucible pulse rifle actually. So it's not bad. It's got a really low rate of fire, but a huge impact. So it's not too bad. It's just really hard to get used to, like, the shots between rounds essentially. Like, I don't know. I'm still in the mentality of, like, burst rifles from Halo. So when I use a gun like 3 little words, I'm kind of like, what the fuck? Shit! On that note really quick, apparently the new Monarchy pulse rifle is the closest thing you can actually get to the battle rifle from Halo. So that's my next step, is to get that shit, because I want it. So onwards to the big changes that are happening with weapons. The first up is the auto rifle. Now the big news for the auto rifle is they're reducing base damage of auto rifles by 2.5%, averaged across rate of fire stats. Higher rate of fire take less of a reduction than low rate of fire, meaning if I'm using Silamar's Wrath or Hard Light, I won't notice a huge damage difference. More so in like Suros, for example. They're also reducing effective range values so that damage, fall off, and accuracy are a stronger factor in combat decisions, meaning I can't just snipe out bitches with assault rifles anymore. That's kind of a shame. And also a big change to the stats itself is range reduction is less severe in the higher stat values, so now your range stat is more critical to long distance engagements. So now when your weapon actually says range, it fucking makes sense if it's got a lot of range or not. Like, that's accurate now. That's a thing. If it's got loads of range, it's gonna shoot really far and get some damage in there. If it's got low range, you just can't. Nope. And onwards to everyone's hated gun, the pulse rifle. I personally like pulse rifles. I just wish that they were a little bit easier to use and a little bit same level as auto rifles, and then they'd be perfect, which is why they're doing this. Bungie is increasing the base damage of pulse rifles by 9.7% DPS, and is now more in line with other primaries. Oh shit! So that means when I'm using 3 little words with huge impact and low rate of fire, I take whatever damage I'm getting now in this game and add another 9.7 fucking percent, and I'm like 3-shotting bitches. That's pretty fucking sweet. I have like so much more incentive now to actually use a pulse rifle, so thank you, Bungie. And that being said, bad juju's gonna only get more fucking cool. That's sick too. I like that. I honestly, I wish pulse rifles had more kick to them, and now they're getting more kick. That's awesome. Hand cannons are also getting a slight change in the way the weapons work. They're reducing the effective range of a hand cannon, and the damage fall off starts closer to the shooter, and follow-up shots are less accurate at long ranges. Thus being said, to balance it out a little bit more, there is a slight reduction to initial accuracy, and this is more so unnoticeable at medium range. So what that means, in some basic terms, is that you can't just be sniping bitches across the map with your hand cannon anymore. That's just not gonna work anymore. There's an actual damage fall off. It makes sense. It's still a hand cannon. And anyone that uses hand cannons would know that, you know, hand cannons can be fucking pretty OP at range if you know how to use them. So that means I can't be poisoned to the extent that I probably could be with a Thorn from cross map. And anyone that uses Hawkmoon, well, I guess you're shit out of luck. Ha! Hawkmoon users are awesome, but holy shit, you can really get sniped with a Hawkmoon, and it hurts me. It hurts me deep down inside. And fucking fusion rifles are getting a huge ass change. Thank you, based Bungie, on this one. I'm sorry if you guys are any sort of fusion rifle user. Like, this is huge. Because you guys are assholes in Crucible, and you guys fucking know it. If you use a fusion rifle in Crucible, you know you're a dick! You know it! I know you do, and you're snickering right now as I say this. I know it. I just fucking know it. So the changes going down for the fusion rifle are that the blast patterns on a fusion rifle burst cone is a little wider, meaning close to medium range volleys are largely unaffected, but at a distance the projectiles are less likely to land hits on a single target. This reduces the reliability of landing a one-hit kill at far range and makes the weapon better at spreading damage into a group. Yeah! No more fucking angry, ridiculous fusion rifle kills from like a fucking mile away where I just almost want to throw my controller and be like, bullshit! Bullshit! No! No! But the nice part is that there's a little bit of trade-off there, as Bungie just said. It'll be good for like crowd control if you got a huge group on, for example, a capture point. Use that fusion rifle. Hell yeah. You got a wider spread. It'll be fairly kick-ass still at medium range, and that actually makes sense, personally. That's cool. Also, they're dumbing down the initial starting ammo if you're using a fusion rifle in Crucible, meaning you can't be spraying people with your fusion rifle left, right, and center as per usual. Now, shotguns got a huge PvE change, and personally, I like shotguns. I like using them across the board, to be honest. I'm a shotgun connoisseur myself. So I'll start it off with the bigger change that's going down, and that change is there's increased damage by 100% against all non-Guardian combatants, meaning, you know, Fallen and Hive and so on and so forth. Now, this is, of course, only during PvE because fucking none of that shit exists in Crucible, obviously. God! And that's huge! Like, that actually makes it so the shotgun makes sense in PvE. It's a huge fucking damage dealer. That's sweet. And now for Crucible, they dumbed down the range for getting kills, meaning you have to be quite close to actually get a kill with the shotgun in Crucible. And none of that long range bullshit. Like, shotgunning makes sense from a short distance between you and your enemy. Like, that's the purpose of a shotgun. That's how one hit kills you. That makes sense. And just like the fusion rifle, they're dumbing down the amount of reserve ammo you have right at the beginning of a Crucible round, which once again makes sense because sometimes you have those rounds where you really just want to whip out your shotgun or fusion rifle and just get started with that, really, like, because that's how you fucking get capture points, son. And on the side that didn't get changed, you got scout rifles, sniper rifles, heavy machine guns, and rocket launchers, which apparently are avidly being adjusted, but there's nothing major coming up, any sort of patches or anything, so everything I listed is more so important than those guys, apparently. And once again, the biggest argument to these changes by Bungie, which actually makes sense, is the fact that they want to have an even playing ground across all weapons. And of course, you see the demographic is mostly using assault rifles. Let's fucking change that. Like, why aren't we expanding past our horizons here and going, you know, pulse rifle or scout rifle and all that stuff past assault rifles? Like, gotta have some variety in there, and that's exactly what Bungie wants. So unfortunately, there's no set date from when this patch actually rolls out. Apparently it'll be dropping sometime this month, and that's about as much as we know. But of course, I'll keep you guys posted. Oh, hell yeah. And that's all I've got to talk about for today, guys. Once again, my name is Governs. Drop a like if you enjoyed the video, where we talk about all sorts of guns and opponent noobs and stuff. And I'll be back here in a little bit with more Triple D, aka Daily Dosage of Destiny. So take it easy, all my old ass guardians, and I'll talk to you guys later. Peace out!